All right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming today with a message. Understanding spirit and truth within. All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. Sister Deborah is coming with a message. Understanding the vision, not the vision, understanding the spirit and truth within. I don't know why is it it's not allowing me. This is crazy. I'm sorry. Within the verse. Okay, we're going to understand spirit and truth within the verse. I don't know if you all have experienced this, but I have throughout my whole life, my life in living. I experienced trying to go into studying and can't seem to go in and pull out, especially the study guide, because it seems like it's so much need to be spoke on each verse, so much light in what you see. You have to bring it out because the book itself is not doing it. Okay, so you have to bring these things out, and you can't seem to find yourself going in, just being able to read and pull out. You can't, because you always find some treasures right there in the verses that you study. And I found that to be so different. And I always wonder if, hello in the live chat, it's good to see you. I wonder if I was the only one that experienced that, because it's like you just can't go into one verse and just go in and come out. It's like it's so much spirit and truth that's resting in that one verse till you just can't come out, because you see the verse, you can read the verse, but it's just so much light in it to where you just can't pull out of it and think that, okay, that's it. And that's what I'm going to share is spirit and truth within the verses. Okay. And we're going to cover uh, several verses, and we're going to look inside of the verses and see if we can see the Ruach himself resting there in the verses, or what is the Father saying that's behind the verse, within the verse. Okay. And that's what we're going to do today. And it's pulling out, understanding the spirit and truth within the verse. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because the spirit revealed some things to me during the time I was washing dishes. And I found that to be so true. The moment the quicken revealed it to me, it was like I received it the instant moment of the quickening. I just received it because it was almost like it was already there, as if I already knew it. But the way he brought it in through the water, while the water was, my hands were in the water, and it was just real quick. And it was about war, a war. Okay. And if you can go with me in Matthew's chapter 24. In Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 6. Go with me in Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 6. And it reads in Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 6, it reads, and ye shall hear of wars. So it's more than just one war you're going to hear about. You're going to, and rumors of wars. Okay. See that ye be not troubled. Now, You would go in that and you would see it, but you would be surprised how many people cannot comprehend a simple verse. They cannot accept the verse for what it says or what it's trying to reveal unto you. And this is what I brought this verse forth because once he revealed some things to me, I went straight to Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 6. Okay. And I said, because that's where it's saying in the end about the wars. So here in Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars. So this is something you're going to hear. And rumors of wars. And rumors of wars is what they're doing right now. That's all you hear is rumors of wars. Okay. See that ye be not troubled. He don't want the spiritual seed to be troubled by the wars because there are wars and rumors of wars. What the Father said in the end days when he's telling this to the disciples, they're not going to be here to see this, but here we are. So it's not so much for them, it's for us. So we are the one that should search and see what is this it's saying. What is this saying? What is the detail? What is the light in what he's saying? So when I heard him give me the quicken, I heard him. When I felt him give me the quicken in my spirit to understand what is actually going on, I decided, okay, I'm going to look back at Matthew 24 and verse 6. And as I'm reading it to you, he's telling us that, okay, there is going to be a time in the end where there's going to be wars and there's going to be rumors of wars. But see, you know, he's not talking to the 12 disciples. They're not here. It didn't dawn on you, did it? Who is he talking to? Where's the 12 disciples that was on Mount Olive when he was talking and telling it to them? So you see how I say I don't have the sense to go into verses and pull it out and just leave it right where it's at because there's so much behind it. It's so much behind each verse that the naked eye of the flesh nor the naked ears of the flesh can't comprehend it nor see it, nor the understanding of the flesh can't do nothing with it. So this is why you have a lot of people who have taught and ministered and were pastors and bishops, apostles or prophets, prophetess, priests. They have taught the lies because they done good telling the lies because they never had the truth. Okay, so you have to get that only through the spirit that's in you, teaching you the truth. You can't just pull up on Matthew 24 and verse 6, see it, because Sister Deborah say, "Oh, look what I see." You have to have that spirit in you to see exactly what I'm saying. Now, when I made that statement in Matthew 24 and verse 6, when he say, "See that ye be not troubled," he ain't talking to them. He is not talking to the 12 disciples on Mount Olive. He's talking to Sister Deborah. I'm the one that's here in this end day. He's not talking to them. He's talking to me. So now me have to understand it in the spirit realm in which it is being said. But if you get the pastors and all these people who think they know something, who don't have the Ruach, they'll teach this thing and say, he was telling the disciples that these things are going to happen and see that they should not be troubled. No, he's not telling the disciples that they're not, see that ye be not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. He knew that they're not going to be here during this time. He's talking to Sister Deborah. So Sister Deborah now have to go into this verse and understand what is the spirit trying to tell me. So when I was in the water earlier and I was washing dishes, he gave me a quicken. He told me some things I wouldn't even be on this Deborah platform discussing. But I'm going to go on and discuss it because he gave it to me. I can't be like many people and be fearful and not speak it after the Ruach has revealed it to me. So that's what made me want to put it out. And I'm going to put it out. But I had to run back to Mount Zion when the disciples asked him to tell what the end is going to be like. So when you go into Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that ye be not troubled. First he said, and ye shall hear. He's not talking to the 12 disciples that they're going to hear. He ain't talking to them. He talking to me. And then he says, see that ye be not troubled, Deborah. That's what he's saying. They not going to be here. I am. So you see what I'm saying? Now watch this here. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Now, what does he mean, but the end is not yet? Hold up, Deborah. But see and hear the wars and rumors of wars. But see that you don't be troubled by it, Deborah. So today he was explaining to me that I need not be troubled. Why? Exactly what he said. These things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. But they must come to pass. Now watch this. This is what he gave me. He said, Deborah, the wars that they're telling people about, I want y'all to hear me and hear me well, because after I say it, you still gonna be lost in it. So I'm just and with it. He said, in the water, I'm in the water washing dishes. He said, you know, they got all those wars, and you hear of rumors of wars. And he say, but guess what, Deborah? It's not wars. And when he said that to me, I'm in this water now. My hands are still. With a quicken, I understood it. With a quicken, I understood it. He says, it's not wars, Deborah. Wars, you hear wars and rumors of wars. What all of those countries are doing. I know y'all ain't going to understand it and you ain't going to receive it, but I don't give a rat's behind. He said, what all they are doing is depopulating each country as planned. They are eliminating their population and using war. Just as, let me show the example he gave me. Just as COVID, millions of people lost their lives. First and foremost, China. Every country participated in that. Just to eliminate the population. He said this war, it's not a war, Deborah. They plan on the minds of the world, especially the people minds that's in Babylon. They plan on their minds. And remember, I did a video, they got what they got coming. Play on their minds. And he said that the wars is not wars. They are doing what you call hardcore murdering. The president over in Ukraine, he know it ain't no war between him and Russia. They got a deal, a plan. Russia know that it ain't no war between Ukraine and Russia. Palestine, Israel, they want that land. And the United States also want to rebuild for Israel in that land. That's why nobody in the world is doing anything about them killing and murdering them people and calling it what? A war. Everything today is what Matthew 24 and verse 6 says. And ye shall hear of it, Deborah, wars and rumors of wars. But see, Deborah, Deborah, I'm not talking to the 12. I'm talking to you. See that ye be not troubled. Who would not Tell me, y'all, who would not be troubled by wars all over the place and rumors of war? Who wouldn't be? Because he knows what's behind it is depopulation. All the countries, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Israel, doing it over there where the Palestinians are at. They in this whole process of murdering people. It's called depopulating the countries, just as they did with COVID. And people didn't even see it coming. And still today, all the science and all the medical doctors who have has resigned. They're trying to get everybody in this country to understand that was a setup. But the people in this country, they're not hearing it. When it's the same thing I'm saying today. There's no war. It is planned. This allowed everybody to get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier as long as they use the word war. That should have went over your head and land right on the crown of it. It's all about manipulating and deceiving the people in the country. There's no war. That's why he said, be not troubled. These things, what he say in verse 6, must come to pass. But the end is not yet. But who wouldn't be troubled by him? Because it's a form of how they depopulating, I think I'm using the right word, their countries. Ukraine has allowed even their soldiers, their military, and their people to die by great numbers. And ain't nobody saying nothing. Same thing with over in Palestine, over there where they by great numbers, nobody saying anything. And all Israel can constantly keep saying, we at war, we at war, we at war. You do a peace agreement, which that's fake. But yet you still at war. Ain't no, wait a minute, what, didn't you say you just did a peace? No, he didn't sign. Okay, it's not at war. I mean, it's not no peace. They're lying. The war represent that which was in the biochemical COVID. It went on the four corners. And whatever country wanted to eliminate their population, they had it heavy in their country. Now, they found a main thing that can eliminate the population, and the fools will believe it. This country believed it. China believed it. The people over in China says their land is their country is like a ghost town. If that was the plan. So why isn't China at war? Because China got the majority of their population knocked off during COVID time, and during the last 3 years, they knocked their whole population off and made it all okay and good and dandy. And this here is what they're doing. Now watch this. He began to tell me about how the United States is going to send men and women, people's sons and daughters, over to fight a war that's not even a war. It don't have nothing to do with a real war. And by now, watch this here. By now, you should know that it's not a real war. It's not a real war. If you just look at it, you can see it's not a real war. It's a plan to eliminate the population. And to me, it's clearly seen. Clearly seen. And they're taking people from this country. And they're going to use them to fight wars. But it ain't no war. It's a plan to eliminate the population. That's the plan. And tell me, somebody like me, that's one hell of a plan to where the people won't see nothing coming. They eliminate the population. If you see, you key in how many of Ukraine then passed away from their little war between Russia. Russia and Ukraine is the same people. Well, what's going on? Europe and all of them over there, all of it's about let's kill off the people. And I think the people are not focusing, they so tied up into the worldly issues and tied up into what those who are destroying them and destroying their country and destroying their country where they reside. They're so focused on what they're doing, they fail to realize they're destroying you from the inside out. So when you see them, Donald Trump talking to all the generals and all the whatever they call it, generals and whatever in the military, he's talking to them because he's finna put them involved in being destroyed. And they thinking they coming to work to make America great. They think they coming to here and there to make it better. No, they coming to kill you. That's the plan of eliminating the population. It's an excellent one, a real good one, because all the other countries already are embedded in it. Even Russia. They getting a kick out of it like it ain't nothing. Israel's so numb to all the women and children and the Palestinian people over there murdering them in broad daylight. They so numb to it, it's a game. And the whole country here in the United States, ain't nobody, the people here act like they don't see nothing going on because they're going to be next. They don't even understand you next in line, baby. So what he was revealing to me is the war that they're portraying that's happening is a war to eliminate the population because they got plans, and the plan cannot go forth if we have a large population. So they have to take it down by great numbers. And that's what you're going to start seeing. So when you see Donald Trump going to Chicago, as long as Donald Trump was sending them to Chicago, they thought that he was sending them to the blacks. They don't understand the plan of the elite on the four corners to rule. It ain't a black or white thing. They don't understand that. But if they can get the people to think that it's a black and white thing, then the white's going to be okay with whatever choice Donald Trump make. Because they thinking he's making it for the good of their nationality. They don't have no idea. No, he's not. He's doing it because if he had to eliminate the population of Judah, then who next? That means they moving the little man out the way so they can get to the big ones, their own people. And that's how, to me, far off, slow, and mental and gone Europeans are, to where they can't see the bigger picture. It's a setup. Ain't nothing nobody can do about it. If you can sit down and count the numbers that they are actually telling you of people who passed away, you'll say, how could this have taken place? This many people murdered, and ain't nobody in the world saying nothing because they're using fake wars to cover up the real plan. They can't go underground when this many people are up on top. See? Then they telling you about something coming from space right now and heading to destroy. You know what? If anything comes around about now, it's them. See, that's what people don't understand. They're in the process of eliminating the population. Okay? Everything they're doing is about them destroying the countries from within so that they can rule the four corners. A one world system cannot, hear me, y'all. I know none of y'all don't understand it. A one world system cannot come into play with this many people in the world. It can't be done. They can't do it. So the elimination of the population is a must. It's a must. It's just that they came up with using this word called war to try to cover up the truth so the people won't know what hit them. And they always think, oh, it's a war, it's a war. Because as long as they got you thinking it's a racial war, and a lot of them think that. These people really believe that the reason why I know the Europeans is short-minded and they are so far embedded in Satan is when they ain't got the sense to see you cannot have a war if you're 70% and someone is 13%. That's not war. That's not war. So why is you believing that you're in war with a 13% population that's constantly killing each other, but you at war? That shows you they gone as well. Because they are believing what everything Donald Trump is saying, the Republicans, and all these people on this news, they believe in it wholehearted. And guess what? It's all to destroy them from the inside. When they say they're going to cut off the people's food stamp, do y'all know what that means? That's a war. Father, they don't get it. See, this is why I was saying to you, people, everything that they doing and they saying is a war within the country. And they going to destroy the country from within. That's why it goes to verse 7 and say, nation shall rise against nation. That means people against people. You can't escape it. And then it says kingdom against kingdom. You can't escape it. It's doing it within the country. They're destroying it from within. Why you thinking you at a racial war? You think you in a civil war. They done got you to believe that a 13% is danger to your 70%. If that ain't a person that's mentally something wrong, it's an elderly man. He went into a school event, him and his wife, and shot the only black man there. The only young black man that was there, he shot him. And said he don't know what he did. You didn't do it to no other black people. And the black man, I think he had just received a award. But why would you want to shoot the only black man? And you 80-something years old. I think he's 80 or 70. He looked like he's 100 years old, to tell you the truth. But yet they said that you said you didn't know what you had did, or you didn't know. But why shoot only the black man when all them other people was around? Talking about he thought something about doing something to his wife. Why the black man? That's how rooted their evil and wicked is. And this is, and it goes, and it don't escape, y'all. It goes into their children. Don't think that it has panned out. No, it ain't. It's worse than yesterday. You think they hung you on the tree yesterday. What the rest behind you think they're doing today? Doing it proudly in all the opening. And those that they're hanging, their family is getting money and saying nothing else about it. I don't understand that. I will not understand it. How can you allow that stuff to be going on and nobody saying nothing? This is why they continue to hang him. Because there's a people who don't say nothing about nothing. But when a man that been locked up 20 years for murdering his whole family come out and get killed by the police, oh, you killed that black man. Oh, you did that. You just look at his record. He done killed his whole family 20 years ago. But this is how Judith mindset is. It's gone. So you're dealing with mindsets that's just all over the place. And everybody wants to keep calling everything a war, not a civil war, a civil war. Why you want to do that? Because they want to see. And anybody, listen to this, y'all, anybody in their right mind can't see that the Europeans would love to have a racial war, because 70% is showing you the unjust for them to think they can war with somebody that's 13% of the population and they're 70%. Even if they was 50%, what do you look like warring with 13%? See, they don't think. So it can't be a civil war. But what it can be is what they preparing. They were preparing everybody to war against each other. The whole ideal is depopulation. Even if we got to get them to war against each other, good deal. And they falling for it. They think this is the time of they living. And then when they finish, they gonna use up everything they had thinking they doing something. And when it's time for the real war for them, they out of it. Because now they got them. So they want them to use all their firepower, their guns. But they want them to use it toward someone else, to where when they finish with the racial riot and racial war, then what? Who got something left? They so stupid. Now they fully can control you, because you ain't got no ammunition. You ain't got nothing. You thought it was important that you take out 13% and you 70%. So you used all your weapon to take out the least 13%. See how they mind think? Because it's in them, y'all. It's a perpetual hate that's so rooted in them. Even if they 100% wrong, they don't care. It ain't about if I'm right or if I'm right, if I'm right or if I'm wrong. It ain't about character. It's about fulfilling. Like he said here in verse 7, these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So these things going to come past, because he turned around in verse 7 and said, nations rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine and pestilence. Pestilence, there you go. There it is right there. You ain't gonna get out of that. You ain't gonna get out of that alive. No, you ain't got nothing to worry about when it says famines. But when it says pestilence, you ain't getting out of that one, baby. You lucky you got out of the one with COVID. You ain't getting out of that one. He just letting you know, when they get you to where the nation against nation, people against people, when they get that started, and kingdom against kingdom, like you see, I see going up to this other man church, this other man church complaining about what he's preaching. Why are you doing that? He's an agent. He was placed there. He was placed there to be an agent, to lead, make sure that the majority, I would say, melanated, brown-skinned people follow him. So they would never see how to find their way. He was placed there. That man was placed there, just like Bokenman, Bokeman, whatever his name, that died out of nowhere, just like him. He was placed there. You all don't understand how your nation, Judah, is so easy to go up against Yah at a blink of a hat, or a blink of, not a hat, at the blink of an eye. They will go up against their own. They'll sell you for a penny. That's how they always been. If you ever ask the Father to let you see behind sin, you'll see these people were like this. Nobody did them like this. 400 years couldn't have done them the way that they act today. I know it. They want to be able to blame somebody. No, all you need to do is go back. And there it is. So right now we're going to go with spirit and truth. I had to bring that forth because he revealed that to me, that it's not a war. It's not a war like country really going against country. It's a form of how they eliminating their population. That's why you wonder why Israel won't let off Palestine. They got to get them all out. And it's not like they're getting them out. They got to kill them, and whatever's left, we'll use them, but we got to kill them all. And that's what you see a lot of going on, and they calling it war. You can't war against something that can't fight you back. How are you warring? You see? And they have done it so in the opening, where all this country over here, Russia and everybody, China, know that they are killing children and women, and they don't care. That's why you know it's not a war. And some people say, well, why don't they stop them from doing that? You see them killing women and children. Won't y'all stop? Why are they going to stop it? They're part of the plan. China did the same thing with this here COVID. Their population is so far down. Y'all, when you can, oh man, when they told me something, I said, how are you going to drop down to that many million, to almost 80% knocked off, died? And the people in China said, what happened to all our people? Where did they go? And they said, it's a ghost town over there. See how they did it? And nobody in the world said nothing. Nobody talked about it. Nobody said it. So United Snakes, they got theirs coming too, because everybody wants to blame everyone outside of this country without looking within and saying, wait a minute, y'all, there's something going on within our country. There's something they doing to us. No, they can't see it. That's why they always into everybody else's business and what the United Snakes is doing. What United Snakes did over to Egypt, signing a peace. Y'all, that's a show, y'all. All of this stuff is a show. Let me tell y'all something else. Y'all didn't know. I don't think, and this is what happened. Charlie Kirk got shot. But he got shot from the back camera that was in back. Something shot him. But Charlie Kirk is not dead. It was a setup. This country have worked so hard for years, and I mean hundreds of years, to be able to use the technology to where they can make everybody's eyes see one thing, and they be doing another. Just like I just told y'all about the wars. All them wars that they keep talking about, they screw in your mind while they're trying to eliminate the population, using war as a mean. And that's what it's all about. Every time you turn around, it's Ukraine and Russia. You know, Ukraine can't be fighting against Russia. Stupid people. How could Ukraine be fighting against big old Russia? It's a setup. It's a setup to make the world and the people in this country especially naive. They don't even have to work hard. So, as I said, he was shot with something from the back camera. And the whole play was set up to make it look like assassination. So he was assassinated. But the truth be told, he's not dead. Set up. What do you think AI is? They got a young man picture off of TikTok. And it made like he was saying he was going to war with ISIS. Young black man, young black man, and other black, young black men. Got them standing up there like they said they're going to war with ISIS. And these young men, you can tell they kids in school. How could they have done that? How could they reverse that? And all it took was to put that online and let all the Europeans get it and make it something that it ain't. That's how easy and simple it is, y'all. They can take me and make it look like I went in the bank to rob somebody and I got killed. And not no one on this earth would even challenge it. That's how far gone it is. Because it ain't that it's not clearly seen. It's because the people believes the lie. The lie is going to always be what's believed, you see, because that's what they're more content. But I do know he was shot with something. And whatever it was he was shot with, they set it up so well to where he is not dead. Years ago, I remember a plane crashed, and it bothered me for many years. And I said, ain't no way that plane disappeared. Guess what it had on it? 40 scientists from around the world just disappeared in midair to never be found. And they gave each family member $40,000. And in me, I knew they took them underground. Y'all, this stuff been going on for years. So when the Father says these things need be, and I say unto you a message that I spoke on, saying they're going to get everything they got coming to them. Especially not just the elites. We know what they got coming. The people in this country who have supported the synagogue of Satan here in this country and Satan himself. They have shined his seat and made his residence the United Snakes of America. And the people here is content. You have people supporting Donald Trump one day. The next day they're hating on him. And they're supposed to be the news. And you're trying to figure out, well, wait a minute, what's going on with this man? How you going to report him one day and now you all you have to know is these people are paid and getting paid in this land is more than anything to people. It's worth more than anything. They'll kill a whole family to get paid. So let's go to Proverbs chapter 10. In Proverbs chapter 10, we're going to start there. And what we're doing, we're bringing spirit and truth out of the verses. So I'm going to be asking questions here because we're going to bring some things out. Okay. In Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 21, And what we're doing is bringing spirit and truth out of the verses. Something like bringing light out of darkness. Okay. So here we go. In Proverbs chapter 10, verse 21, it reads, the lips of the righteous feedeth many. What is that saying? The lips of the righteous feed many. What does that mean? Anybody? What does that mean when it says in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 21, the lips of the righteous feed many? Anybody in the live chat, if you happen to know. What does that mean? What could that be saying? The lips of the righteous feed many. Someone says, speak spirit and truth. The key word is the righteous and feed. The righteous feed. Okay, very good. Speak the word. There you go. Because when you see righteous, right then, if their lips is speaking, okay, and saying something righteous, it would have to be the word, okay? And it's doing what? It's feeding many. So here in verse 21, the lips of the righteous feeded many. It feeded many the word. So why is it we don't have many knowing the word? If the righteous lips of the righteous feed many, it didn't say that many accept the word. It just said that the righteous do their job. They feed the word to what? Many. You see? Someone says because the righteous are few. All right. And they feed many. So that's showing you that that which the Father has invested in them, his word invested in them, he considered them the righteous one. They are the ones that feed many. Now watch this here. But it says, we in Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 21, but the fools die for want of wisdom. What do you think that means? The narrow is the gate. That is so true. There it is. The narrow is the gate. So in verse 21, it began to say, but the fools die for want of wisdom. What does that mean? The fools die for want of wisdom. And what kind of wisdom would that be? In verse 21, but fools die for want of wisdom. And if we knew what want mean, then what is it saying that the fools die for want of wisdom? Of unrighteousness. So what is that wisdom though? They die for want of wisdom. It's almost like Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people, they perish due to lack. Want is lack of wisdom. You see? Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people perish due to lack of knowledge. So here it says the fools die for lack of wisdom. Okay, someone says wisdom. Okay, yeah. They lacking, they die. Not what? Inheriting wisdom. They lack it. And they die that way. I like that because it's telling you twos. It's breaking everything down in twos. You all need to really read Proverbs chapter 10 because it breaks everything down in twos. Seeds of darkness can't receive the word of the Most High. Yeah, that's true. They are spiritually dead because they lack spiritual wisdom. That's why I said they did. They die because they don't have it. But I like what he said about the lips of the righteous. They're about their business. They are the one that feed many. So the next one, let's go to Proverbs chapter 10. Let's go up to 16. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 16. What does it mean? The labor of the righteous tendeth to life, and the fruit of the wicked to sin. See how it breaks everything down in twos? That's a pretty good thing to read in Proverbs chapter 10 because he's breaking everything down in twos, y'all. And it says in 16, the labor of righteous tendeth to life. They about life. They tend to life and the things therein. But it says the fruit of the wicked, they go after sin. He's talking about the twos. And the tools that I'm learning in Proverbs 10 is really giving you a little insight of how heaven knew there were two types of people here on the earth. And he's sitting here in Proverbs, and I think it's Solomon, actually breaking down the twos. Knowingly or unknowingly, he's breaking down. In verse 16, what do tend mean? Tend to life. Anybody know? Tend to life. He's letting you know the labor of the righteous, they tend to life. They go into the things that deals with life, and that is the eternal life. They're focused. Good, very good. That's right. They focus on those things that is consistent or consist with life. So they focus on life. Very good. Fruit of the wicked, they focus on what? Sin. He's breaking them down in twos. But this is what got it. Proverbs chapter 10, and let's go to verse 20. Let's go to verse 20. And it says, the tongue of the just is as choice silver. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little wrath, but it's like a wrath. Okay, the heart of the wicked. That right there, that just show you that that's a different seed. But 20 says the tongue of the just. What do that mean? Is as a choice silver. What does that mean? A choice silver. The tongue. What I'm hearing here is we're speaking of two seeds here. The one that represents righteous seems to have a lot going for itself, or himself or herself in Yah. Because for the tongue of the just is as a choice silver. And then when you were in 21, it says in 21, the lips of the righteous feed it much. So this is a really good thing to look into by understanding the twos, because that's what is being done right here. It's showing you how heaven separated the twos and the ideal of what they represent here on the earth. That's exactly what it's telling you. It's actually showing you what they represent here on the earth. Now let's go to Proverbs chapter 13. Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 25. Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 25. The righteous eateth to the satisfying of their spirit, but the belly of the wicked shall want, shall always lack. That's what want is, lack. But the belly of the wicked shall want. So what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean when it says the righteous eateth to be satisfied of his spirit? What does that mean? The righteous eateth to be satisfied of his spirit. Yes, the tongue of the righteous speaketh life. Exactly. So what does it mean for 25? The righteous eateth to the satisfying of his spirit. And this is why it cannot be so. Because the whole psalm is talking and dividing the twos. So he's dividing which one? The spiritual one, the spiritual seed, and the flesh seed. So here in verse 25, it says, the righteous eateth to the satisfying of his spirit, but the belly of the wicked shall lack. Their belly is always lacking. When they wake up in the morning, they need something to eat. When it comes noonday, they need something to eat. When they come to dinner, they want something to eat. They always lacking. Okay? The belly of the wicked is always lacking, wanting something to eat for its belly. The righteous feeds the spirit food for Yah. Okay? Okay? The righteous eat it also to satisfy his spirit. So not only does it feed, but it also eat it to the satisfying of his spirit. So our spirit needs to also not only feed, but also eat to the satisfying of our spirit. Eat the word in which Yah feed to our spirit. Okay. So, but it says, but the belly of the wicked shall want, meaning shall lack. That's true. Your belly don't always want something to eat. You ain't gonna go out. People can't even fast because their belly always want. Okay. So now let us go to Isaiah chapter 36, Isaiah chapter 36 and 37 and 38. Now, we're coming here because I want to see if you can see into this. Isaiah chapter 36 and verse 37 and 38. Isaiah chapter 36, verse 37 and 38. Thus said Yah, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel to do it. So it's going to be done for them. For who? The house of Israel. I will increase them with men like a flock. What do you think? I guess you have to know a little bit of more about it. This is now where you're in the promised land to Mount Zion. You're entering in. Verse 37. Thou said Yah, I will yet for this be required of by the house of Israel to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock. Okay. What do you think he means where he says he will increase them with men like a flock? Flesh never is satisfied. Yep, that's you just nailed that one. They're never satisfied. Content with its daily. The spirit is content with its daily portion. Yeah, that's true. That's what that daily bread is something you are content with. And just having that experience myself, I know you become content with your daily bread. It's like it becomes the norm for you. Okay. So verse 37, it is the video messing up for anyone else. Okay. Is it messing up? And they should. It's time for them to mess up. Okay. So it's saying Yah is going to add a number of people to Israel. When he gets us over to Mount Zion, he's going to add. Let's go to verse 38. We still in Ezekiel chapter 36. Let's go to verse 38. Oh, okay. Okay. Verse 38. As the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feasts, so shall the waste city be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yah. Okay. Right there in verse 38. Right there in verse 38, he's revealing something. Remember in 37, he said he's going to increase them with men like a flock. This is what he's going to do. He's going to add to. Okay. And in verse 36, he said, what is he going to add? Watch this here. As the holy flock. You see, Yah is not going to add to the remnant Israel. Like just here go Israel. No, here go Judah. No. Look what he says. As the holy flock. So when he add to Israel, it's going to be like a holy flock. It's not going to be just Israel and Judah here, add them on into it. No. That's what people didn't understand. Nobody's going to Mount Zion that's not going to that's not going to be sealed as holy. He's sealing us as holy. That's why he's going to purge the women out with fire. The burning. It's the burning. But after he has done that, he's going to call them holy. See, we wants to just think it's just going to be a skip, jump, and we there. Y'all going to be doing some things. They're going to be doing, y'all is going to be doing some things. And if we think it's about our flesh getting the opportunity to be somewhere as we are, and we just entitled. No, we are not entitled. And that's what he was saying in Ezekiel 36. Chapter 36 and verse 37. He letting you know, I'm going to add to Israel, to the house of Israel. But I'm going to add as the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feast. So shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men. What's going to be about these men? I think it's going to be male and female, but they put me in here to cover everything. So I believe here he's speaking of men and women. But then he might not be speaking of men and women. He might be just speaking of men. But whatever he's speaking of, he's saying they're going to be holy. You can't top that, y'all. You ain't going to be able to top that. So they shall know that I am. Why? Because I can do that. That's what he's saying. I'm gonna add to Israel, and they're gonna be holy flock. I am. Yep, I am did it. I can do that. He just letting you know I am. I can do that. So when you get to Ezekiel 37, verse 1, 2, and 3, listen to this. The hand of Yah was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yah. Yah's hand carried him out in the spirit of Yah and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. Who set him down there? Yah took him in his hand, and he set him in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. Only bones, y'all. And verse 2, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. When I hear that, I'm looking at him saying that Yah carried me out in the spirit of Yah. You see, he carried him out in the spirit of Yah. So we know that this is also connected to the spirit, where Yah is showing him in the spirit, because he was at first, he was in verse 1, the hand of Yah, we know is a spirit, was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yah and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. Verse 2, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley. And lo, they were very dry. So I went back, my crazy self, saying, wait a minute, what's this valley he talking about? What's going on? But when you go back, y'all, let me tell y'all something. There's different valleys. And it actually allow you a space to see that the dry bone represent the house of Israel. So I began to wonder about the dry bones in which I think it was a Saul and his sons them lost their life. They called that a valley. I believe that this valley, this place where these dry bones are at, and when not David, but when Ezekiel said they were dry, they were very dry. I believe it was a valley where a battle took place. Mhm. I believe it was a place where a battle took place. And he said, lo, they were very dry. And to me, when you got bones like that and they dry, it's like they've been there for years. Okay. Verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I like what Ezekiel said, because that's how you have to do, Yah. You got to play back with him. And I think Ezekiel did it just right. Ezekiel said, and I answered, O Yah, thou knowest. Because you can't think that he's asking you something like you know something. He's asking you so you can respond. Oh no, I don't, but you know. You knoweth all things, Father Yah. So Ezekiel told him, "Oh Yah, thou knoweth." Again, he said in verse 4 unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yah. Verse 5, thou said, Yah, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Look at Yah talking to the bones, telling the bones that I will. Behold, that means look, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So I believe that Ezekiel was called by the Spirit. Like he said, the Spirit of Yah. The whole taking his hand and taking him away was a spiritual scenery. He was taking him there in the spirit. But I believe, because I went back and I said, wait a minute, where is the valley? Where's the valley where Israel got killed? Y'all, it's so many times. Did y'all know that? Israel got killed so many times in the valley, it's crazy. So that could be what he's going back to collect those bones, those dry bones, and bring them to life. That's what it seems and it appeared to be, that those dry bones are going to come back up. And it is the house of Israel, you see, and he's going to bring them forth, because a lot of y'all did not know David lost a whole army when he took the life of one of his captain or a general, and he told them to count him. Then he got mad when he counted him. So the father told David, so what you got? I think it's three choices, and you want to what do you want to do? And David chose pestilence, meaning something came up on his army and killed. Oh yeah. Oh, it killed a lot of them. Was it 4,000, 6,000? It was a lot of them. Y'all took their lives, all because of what David did. You see what I'm saying? So when you hear Yah say he's going back to the dry bones, see, a lot of people lost their lives because of something David did. You see? So he's going back to these dry bones, and these dry bones, I think, is Israel, that have lost their lives. Look at all of them battles, wars that David was fighting. You know how many armies, how many members David lost in them battles? So I think it's only awesome that y'all would go back to the bones and bring Israel back up. I think that's awesome. Why? Because there's not very many going to the promised land, to be honest. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but there's not many. But he's going to raise up a holy flock. He's going to raise up a holy flock to enter into the promised land. And they're going to be connected to the small remnant. You see? So just think, those bones in which he's willing to go back and retrieve of the house of Israel. And like I said, I had to get from out of there. I said, no, let me get out of here. I can't do this. I can't do this. I was up in there and I was seeing all kind of Israel and Judah falling dead by great numbers. 6,000 here, 4,000 here, 3,000 here. Everybody died. Everybody getting killed in the valley. And I'm like, wait a minute. So it led me to understand. I see why he would go back, because that army that David had, all of those men lost their lives because of what David did when he had his head man to count the army and then turned around and killed him for counting it when he came back with the number. So Yah told him that he had is it 3 things he could choose, and David chose pestilence to come upon his army. And I mean, it was a lot of, I don't know if it was 47,000. It was a lot of them, y'all. It was a lot of them that Yah suffered to die. They didn't do anything. You see why I say that I could see him going back with them dry bones. He said he's going to give them life. He's going to let them live. Because see, a lot of you all don't know, it's a lot of them that died because of Israel. They didn't die because they did something. They didn't die because they did wrong. You see?